Hey, what's up, everyone? This is episode 7 of Right on Point. I'm joined with Darrell. Mikkel and Jason couldn't make it. We're praying for Jay. He's going through something. We have him in our prayers. But we go get right into the show. We got a lot of things to
Yeah,
discuss. Um, and we go first start with the hot topic. They've been begging me to do some hot topics over here, like just what's on my mind. So I'm
I
gonna
don't know what he's
tell
going to say,
and
people.
say,
I don't know what he's going to say.
I got a hot take.
I wish Mikel was here.
I don't think it's too hot. I don't think it should be too hot, but it's a hot take nonetheless. So there's a team in the NBA that nobody's been talking about for this whole season.
I think I know what you're
They're
talking about.
they're exciting, they're fun, and nobody talks about them. And they've been the one consistent team in the league. They have a top 7 record in the NBA, top 5, and they have the most consistent starting front court and back court in the league. And also they have their roles pretty sound. Everyone knows their roles on this team.
I
With
know
that
where you're
being
going with.
said, I think this team is going to the Western Conference Finals.
Oh, man.
So I think
I
the
knew it. I
Sacramento
knew it.
Kings.
I knew it.
I think the Sacramento Kings is going to the Western Conference Finals for that reason, because they are the team that everyone on that team understands their role. They understand what to do, what not to do, who they are within that system. Now they don't play no defense, but they could outscore every team in the league, no matter what, no matter who they play, whether it be Golden State, whether it be the LA Clippers, whether it be the Phoenix Suns. They can score with anybody because their backcourt is really big and really skilled. Darren Fox is an athlete as well. Kevin Herter is underrated big. He's 6'8" and can shoot, and he could put it on the floor. And then you got Harrison Barnes, a great veteran. You got Keegan Murray, who's a good rookie, solid, sound in all areas on the offensive end. And then Demontis Sabonis is a superstar who could do. He's what I would like to say a mini version of
I mean,
Nikola
I said it
Jokic
first, but it's all right, though.
because,
I said it. I said it.
huh?
I said it first before, but it's all right, though.
You did say it. Yeah, yeah. I'm still in you because he is. It's the truth. Like he could do everything on the offensive end. The only thing he's shorter, and he averaged less points. But Demontis Sabonis is a great player, and I think they go into the Western Conference Finals. If I got to put a asterisk, if Andrew Wiggins continues to be out,
Right.
and even if Kevin Durant comes, I still believe they go into the Western Conference Finals. So, what's your thoughts, Steve?
It's funny because I think we was having this conversation last week. I don't even know if it was like on air or it was like after we cut off.
Probably was.
But we were talking about the Kings, and I remember, well, Mick was saying he's snoring, and I was like,
Yeah.
nah, my eyes are open. I was gonna keep my eyes open because I'm liking what I'm seeing. First of all, I want to say this. Um, De'Aaron, I'm actually happy that De'Aaron Fox is finally gonna be in the playoffs because I remember
Yep.
when it was NCAA, tourney way back when he was in college, and there was like, and Alonzo Ball was like the most hyped up, rookie in that class, and I was like, I
Right.
was more on the De'Aaron Fox side. I was like, I would pick De'Aaron Fox over Alonzo Ball. Like I was like probably
Right.
one of those people, the majority was going like Alonzo, but I was more like De'Aaron
Mm-hmm.
Fox because what I saw in when they went toe to toe, I saw all I needed to see from De'Aaron Fox, and he showed
Agree.
up that day. Like he showed up. He came out to play. He came out to kill. Not to say Lonzo the thing with Lonzo is it's not that he's not like talented or anything like that. He's just he's not really like he doesn't really have a killer's mentality in a sense. You could be a team
Mm-hmm.
first guy or whatever, but you gotta have a killer mentality. People were comparing him to Jason Kidd, and I didn't see the comparison because the difference between him and Jason at least had a killer's mentality at the point guard slot because you could tell how he plays on the defensive end. And I've seen Jason J Kidd be he out here. I seen it like his college highlights. I think like at Cal, like that dude. I couldn't believe that people were comparing Lonzo Ball to that guy. I couldn't believe it. It was like it just was blasphemy. Um,
I
It's
agree
just
with
utter
you 100.
blasphemy in my opinion. But when I was watching De'Aaron Fox that tournament, it was yeah, he did his thing, and I've been waiting for this day to come to see him at least get to the playoffs and see what he can do as a young talent. Um, better late than never, I guess. Because I never really doubted him. It was really more his team, like the organization and what they were doing. Um, because we know the Kings have always had an issue when it comes to like holding talent. They seem to give away talent for peanuts a lot of
and
times.
and it's crazy. They had talent throughout
They
this
had
drought.
so much talent.
It's
You had
so
Isaiah
crazy.
Thomas. You had um, DeMarcus
DeMarcus Cousins,
Cousins. Um, I'm probably thank
Tyrese
you. Yeah,
Halliburton.
Halliburton. You gave him away, and I get it because when they see that's the thing. When they did it, a lot of people are like, "Oh, they're stupid." But then I'm like, dude, they're getting some bonus.
Yeah,
Like, if all they need to do is if they can just get a couple of pieces, and it also depends on why I like the move. I think we talked about it. I think you and I talked about it on
through text
probably or over the phone, one or
or
two. And
yeah,
we were
yeah,
discussing. I remember one of my points was saying I was like, it's a future move because when you look at the Lakers, they're really more on the downside in terms of age. And then you look at Golden State, they're getting older too. The only team in the
yeah.
division you really have to worry about is really Phoenix, as they were constructed at that point in time because they were on the younger side of the spectrum.
This was coming off the
Yeah,
finals for
exactly.
Phoenix. Yeah,
That and then there's no. Oh yeah, and the Clippers. And the Clippers they're not going to be there forever either because they're still like nah, they'll still be around because they're like more middle age like superstars. They're not old
yeah,
like as
yeah.
like
Like
how KD and
30s,
Bron are like in that territory. Um,
and they're not like other than Kawhi, they're not too
right,
injury prone.
exactly. So like
Yeah,
it was a pretty good move for them to like they'll find themselves in the mix in the playoffs. Just didn't know when, but hey, here they are,
hmm
second seed. So I mean, I don't think it's a really, I don't think it's a, I don't think, I don't want to say it's not a crazy take. It's only because like it's the inexperience factor that like has
hmm
me like I don't know if I can say they'll go all the way, but your points are valid because the reason why I'm not snoring is because they are the one of the most consistent people, and for me I like consistency.
yeah.
So I think because I think they can get out I think they can get out the first round but it does depend on who they face, but a lot of people are saying stay away from the Lakers, which could probably be valid in the sense, maybe. But
I
but
disagree. I don't think it's valid.
I'm not gonna. I'm gonna still give them the edge. Um,
hmm
I guess over the Lakers because like the continuity is not really there for the team. Um,
Yeah, and Anthony Davis was injured again. He was
yeah,
out yesterday. Like that was the last straw for me. I'm like, I can't trust this team because
yeah,
of that
and then
reason. So it's like
LeBron is
I'll give them some
older. You know, Then
Yeah.
D'Lo, he low key, he another one who can probably get hurt every now and then. He does. People,
We've been
yeah,
saying that
yeah,
consistently.
people, yeah.
We've been saying that
He just
consistently.
hides. He just hides behind the shadows because like every team he goes to, with the exception of Brooklyn, he's not the best player. He's not the featured guy. So he's been
Right.
hiding,
Yep.
behind the shadows of certain players. I guess on Brooklyn, at least, I guess that was his healthiest, maybe. But
Yeah.
yeah,
When he made the All
and
Star.
then, well, then he got traded again. So it just it's like, dang, you know. I mean, yeah, that's the only problem. But other than that, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think that's the only issue. So yeah,
And like when you look at the West, there's only a handful. I
hmm
would worry for them if they played the Golden State Warriors with
right,
Andrew Wiggins. But besides that, I don't worry about no other team because
hmm
if you look at the bottom, Dallas plays no defense, so it's going to be a scoring match between the two. And that will favor Sacramento because they got more
right,
people to throw at you. You look at the Lakers, injury,
hmm
inconsistency. I can't trust them. Minnesota Timberwolves, they're Anthony Davis. I don't trust Carl
yeah,
Anthony Towns at all.
you
I do
know,
not trust him. It's
yeah,
Anthony Edwards.
yeah.
That's it. And then you got.
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead. Go
yeah, I
ahead.
have
I
a.
know you have
The
thoughts
only
on
thing I
that.
want to say is Anthony Edwards' team. It's his
Yeah,
team.
I agree. I agree. They got to find a way to build around him because he's the future. It's
Nope,
not Carl
nope.
Anthony Towns anymore.
He
It's not. And then you look at.
yeah,
Go
he's a
ahead.
third piece.
A third. Wait, on the championship
Yeah,
team, you think it's a third? I I I can agree with that. He's like Chris
yeah.
Bosh. I can agree with that.
But Chris Bosh is better
Yeah,
than
yeah,
him. Yeah,
I
yeah,
agree. I
yeah.
agree
But I get
100%.
why you said it though.
And he
Yeah,
plays smart.
I get why you
Yeah,
said it.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's like Carl Anthony Towns is like that talent, but he can't. He doesn't play the game
no,
smart. So
no.
it's like I can't trust this
He
man
he
anymore.
he.
I'm
Everybody
done
gets
with
caught up
him.
with the oh my god, he's 7 foot tall. He could dribble and shoot. He could play like a guard. I don't need my big to
Right.
play like a guard. Play like a big. Like
Right.
play like a big. And
Right.
I'm not saying you have
Exactly.
to be in the post. If you're gonna be out there dribbling and
Right.
shooting, yo, play like a big, bro. Like, don't be like
I
if
agree.
somebody is shorter than you, you gonna pull up from three. Nah,
Exactly.
gun him, kill him, drive to the lane, and you can dribble, so drive to the lane and kill him. If it's another center, like say if
Exactly.
Joker's on you, I don't care if he's a 3-time MVP. You can kill him. Kill him. Kill him.
Yep.
Like you can do your step backs and shoot in his face, but he can't stay in front of you. You good.
Exactly. You know what's crazy? Carl Anthony Towns is more talented
He
than
really
Nikola
is.
Jokic, in my opinion. And Nikola Jokic is here. Carl Anthony Towns is down
Yeah.
below because it's the smart of basketball. Like in any sports, I think the brain work God has to be active. You got to be thinking the game, and I don't think he thinks it like on Jokic's level
Yeah.
or Embiid's level. So it kills
Yeah. I
me
don't know
because
what
he
it
could be
is.
better.
I don't know if he's
He could
watching
be
and
better.
look. I'm sure he's watching film, but I don't know if he's like paying attention to the details, like the finer
Right.
details.
I,
Don't try to get slick. The finer details on what can make him better. Staying out of foul trouble in certain situations. You're 8, 9 years in the league. You shouldn't be in.
Russ.
First of all, you don't even. I'm not even gonna pull it up. You don't average 2 blocks a game, so I don't even know why you're getting in foul trouble. First of all, it's just like all of
I
a sudden
think
you
he
get in foul
doesn't.
trouble.
I think he's in the low
So
ones.
why you getting in foul trouble?
I think.
You're not a shot block. You're not going for every shot block. Like what are you doing? You're not a steal.
Right.
You don't steal the ball. You're not an on ball defender. We all know this. I'm not saying they got Gobert for a reason, so we know you're not the greatest defender out there. So why are you getting in foul trouble? It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me. So,
I agree. That last series with Memphis, oh my, his play just disgusted me. Like the foul troubles he was committing. It's like the decision making on his
yeah,
scoring drives. It's like,
like what do you?
whoa, whoa,
It's like
this is the guy on Minnesota. Like
yeah.
I was
And
disappointed,
poor Anthony
honestly. I was like,
Edwards. He's
come
a
on,
better player now.
come
If
on.
he was the player, see that's the thing. If Anthony Edwards was the player he is now, in the playoffs, oh man, I think Memphis would have been done. Memphis would have been done.
I agree. I agree. I think last year, I
And
agree. I agree. Because if Anthony Edwards was this Anthony Edwards,
yeah,
it would be scary. It
yeah,
would have been
and
scary for Golden State as well.
right,
I'm
exactly.
not
And
saying
I
they'll
think
win, but
the assessment I'm coming at is like let's be real. Think about this, and I think you're gonna agree with me. You Cat. No, I'm not even gonna say Cat. He doesn't deserve to be called Cat anymore to me. Carl, Carl, basically like he's been to the finals before. Sorry, the playoffs before. He's been to the playoffs before, right?
playoffs.
You
Yeah,
would think after
playoffs,
losing,
not finals.
you would be better and you would like improve and get you get better as a player. Now, here's the difference. Now you see Edwards been to the playoffs last year. Now
Hmm.
you can see his play has gotten even better, and it shows me like, yo, he's
Yeah.
hungry. You can even tell like the way he answers questions. Um, um, he's always been good with the media coming in, but he's even better now. Like he's like more mature. Like he's very like, and he owns up to things. Like he'll be like, oh yeah, I sucked like tonight. Like I did, and I have to improve on this and that.
Hmm.
That's leadership. That's leadership right there.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I haven't seen that from Carl. The most I've seen from Carl um, was in the playoffs when they won that one game, and then now that interview has been like a joke because his voice was like completely
Oh,
different from
okay.
how he usually sounds, and everybody makes a joke about he sounds now he has a deep voice, but his actual sound is like more high pitched, like when he talks. Now,
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
most serious we've seen him, a running joke, and even so, the way he was talking was as if he won the series, so it makes it even worse. So it's like he, he didn't
Yeah.
show any like leadership at that point in time. So for his sake,
Right.
hopefully he learns from that, and I think and hopefully hopefully Anthony's um presence and maturity rubs off on him. Hopefully,
I agree with that. I agree with that. But it's gonna be an interesting dynamic, like, because it was supposed to
right?
be his team, Carl Anthony Towns,
Hmm.
and with him coming back, I think it's gonna be interesting to see how he adjusts to allowing Anthony Edwards be the be the CEO of that team and like
Right.
run the ship, because I think that's what Minnesota needs to do going forward. And if they could keep Carl Anthony Towns cool, but they just need
Yes,
somebody.
I
That
was
Mike
waiting to say
Conley,
it. I was waiting for you to
like you
finish.
said,
Yeah,
he was great.
I was gonna bring back Mike. I was gonna bring it up. Yeah,
I stole that
yeah,
from you
yeah.
because you brought it up last week. But that
Right,
pickup,
right.
like, is so great for Anthony Edwards because
Hmm.
it settles things down for him and it allows Anthony Edwards to play his game. And that's what you're gonna need going forward, like next year and into the
Hmm.
future as you build around him because you could win a championship, I believe, with him leading the team. I really
Yeah.
do. I like Anthony Edwards a lot. And they had a game against Boston last night, and he was great. Like
Hmm.
even the technical foul he got,
Right.
complaining to the referee about a jump ball that was
Hmm.
clearly mismanaged by the refs. Like I
He's
love that.
hungry. He wants
Like
to
it
win.
shows he's hungry. This guy is hungry for a championship, and it wasn't. Carl Anthony Towns got those technicals too, but with his technicals, it's like this is kind of unnecessary. Like he gets it at
Right.
the wrong time. Like that was a loss, but it's like okay, this
Hmm.
this could help going
Yeah.
forward. Like every technical is not the same. When you do certain things, it has to
Right.
be the right
Yeah.
time. And I know they lost the game, but it was like,
Right.
okay,
Hmm.
this was the right time to
Yeah.
do it, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what I liked about it.
Yeah.
That's what I like
Yeah. I
about this
totally agree.
guy.
I got. Like. Oh yeah. I do have one last thing. Like another sign of maturity is like I think I was seeing some interview with him, and he said something. I think he was giving some counsel to one of the Houston Rocket guys. I don't know if it was Jabari. Yeah, he
Like
was
who's
saying
this? Anthony Edwards?
um,
Okay.
like let the game come to you. And like one of the things he started learning was like, look, I don't have to take like contested jump shots all the time. Like I just let the game come to you, and that's it. Keep it simple. And I was like, wow, a young player like offering advice to another young player coming in, um, on how to
Really?
like look for your shot at the right time. Like don't force things. Like the game will come to you because you're skilled, you're talented. Like it will come to you. Like So I was like, wow, like look at that. Like, yeah, I was like,
That's
that's
interesting.
some maturity right there. That's what's up. I mean, maturity was never a problem for me when concerning him anyway. But you can tell he's
Right.
like growing even more. So it was like it's awesome. It's good to see. Yeah,
With all that said, I don't think Minnesota will do
yeah,
anything this year. I don't think they got a chance. Yeah, yeah. I don't think they got a chance of beating any team out west. But going forward, they have a bright future, and I think it's Sacramento time to go forward. They've been in a long drought, and I don't think there's any team out there that really they can compete with. So I got Sacramento going to the Western Conference Finals. That's my hot take. Darrell
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
disagree with
I
me
don't
too
really,
much,
yeah, because
thankfully.
I'm not snoring. I think
Uh,
they could do something.
right,
I think I'm not like overly convinced to be like as you are, but I think they can get
right.
out the
I'm
first round.
convinced.
I think they're good enough to get out the first round. Because I think the
Right.
problem is like a lot of people, I think a lot of people are like, I don't know if they're afraid of change or they just don't want to see. They
Hmm.
just don't want to open their eyes and see it, or they're just not used to like, oh, a De'Aaron Fox, a Sabonis. Like what? Like what's that?
Right.
You know, like they're not used to that. And I think like if you're a fan of, to me, I'm one of those like if you're a fan of something, it's important that you see new faces coming up. Um, because
I agree.
look, man, I'm tired of seeing the same faces. Sometimes, like I love play. There's certain players I love. I love Curry. I love seeing Bron do his thing. Whatever. But like sometimes it's important to like have like younger guys come in. Their game is growing. The new kids on the block come in and disrupt things. I think it's healthy for the game. Because winning a championship, I- it, it's for the sake of like it's for the spirit of competition. Winning a championship is not an easy
Exactly.
thing to do. So constantly seeing the same faces over and over is not really a good thing. So it shows that the
I agree
league
with that.
is not as talented as it needs to be. Yeah, you may have that one guy that's always dominating, like a LeBron dominates the East and things of that nature. Yeah, that happens every like decade or so. But you do need some new kids on the block to challenge the reign or the throne or the of the heir apparent, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's important.
I
Yeah,
I agree with that 100%. And going forward, I do think they're one of the teams on the come up. Like as Golden State continues to
Right.
fade away, although I don't think it's gonna
Yeah,
be
no,
like
they still gonna
happen
be. They
quick
still.
because Steph Curry.
Yeah, they still.
Steph,
Yeah,
yeah,
and then
he
Clay,
had his 50s.
and I'm
They
loving
still
that
gonna be
Clay is
around.
really starting to find himself again. I'm really like
Yep.
I'm happy because I'm a Clay fan.
Yeah,
So
the Splash Brothers.
I
Yeah,
love Clay the game. Yeah, it's not
Splash
dead yet.
Brothers not dead
Yeah.
yet, man. It's not over. It's not over. And then you got some other teams like
Hmm.
still Clippers, like you
Yeah.
said, they're still around. But to see those
Hmm.
teams, Sacramento
And
coming
yeah,
up,
and Denver.
still
Yeah,
got
because
Nuggets
Denver I
hanging around.
had being better than last year for sure. I was like, look, if guys are healthy, I was like, I
Hmm.
had them pegged like third seed, like
Yeah.
in the three, for sure.
Hmm.
They just gotta be healthy, and
They beat
they're number one.
expectation.
They're holding that seed strong. Because I was like they more than superseded my own expectations. I thought they'll be at least be second or third, but they're number one. So like, wow, awesome.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
Jokic, Jamal Murray, they're still
Yeah.
young, so Denver is gonna continue to thrive. And you got a couple of teams in their
Right.
division, the Northwest Division. You got Denver, Minnesota,
Hmm.
Oklahoma is coming up. Who else I'm
Well,
missing? Let's
Portland's in
see.
that division as well,
Oklahoma,
which we'll have. Well, obviously that's
Minnesota,
one of the topics
Portland.
today. So
Yeah, and yeah, and we could get to that because you presented this topic to me, the Damian Lillard quote. I was trying to make sure and find it
yeah,
on the JJ Redick show where he talked about his love for the game and wanting to win a championship. You could go
yeah.
more
I
in depth
think
into
like
that
one of the
if you
episodes,
remember
maybe
that.
it was like last week or maybe it was 2 weeks ago when I brought up and I was saying like just bringing up Dame in general. It was just like one of those off topic things I had that was like on my heart to say because like
Yeah,
yeah, because I've gotten
we
to a
opened the show with
point, especially when it comes to Dame or just the NBA in general, where it's just like, yo, you can see certain players like a Dame Lillard is like, if he doesn't want to go, I, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say he's dumb. I'm not gonna say he's stupid. I'm not gonna say there's a lot of things that go into it. I think some of the things I was saying, like, look, now you have this guy has to uproot his family to move somewhere and go here and there. First of all, everybody be up in the comments saying, well, that's what it takes to win. Well, some of y'all, I'm gonna have to go there. I'm gonna have to go here. Some of y'all want to start a business and you ain't doing what it takes to start that business. Some of y'all want to go to college and get a degree or whatever, and you ain't doing what it takes to get the degree. Some of y'all got jobs and y'all want more money, and y'all ain't doing what it takes to get that more money. Y'all don't want to spend extra hours, or overtime or whatever to do what you gotta do. Some of y'all just want to do the bare minimum and go home and settle. Case in point, the point I'm making is if you ain't trying to go the extra mile in your life, don't tell somebody else how and what they need to do to win the championship or whatever. Because at the end of the day, you ain't taking that step. I think that's the point I'm making. First, like that's like the main one of the main points I'm making. But because people out here, we all hypocrites. A lot of us are hypocrites. A lot of times when we're critiquing people because it's easy
right.
to critique um a Dame Lillard and say he don't want to win and whatnot. But then if I play you in Uno and I see you lackadaisical and you ain't trying to win, then you ain't competitive. So I don't want I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I
Uno,
ain't trying to
that's
hear it.
taking it
If
back,
you ain't
man.
trying to if you ain't trying to cut my throat in Uno, then I know you ain't about that life. So be quiet. If you ain't about that life, I ain't trying to hear it, man. I'm not trying to hear that foolishness. So when it comes to Dame, like I said, like there's a couple of things like now you got to uproot his family, you got to move here, do all these logistics and all this stuff, and then also I think like what's wrong with somebody wanting to be the guy to lead his organization to the championship? I was saying before, like we have gotten to a point where we're like, well, see, the organization is not loyal to you. Well, the organization is loyal to people that provide value more often than not. Some organizations they don't confuse um, an organization not trying to keep a player um, because of you know the value of the player. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to say is like you don't confuse it because like what I'm trying to say is like the value of the player is important to the organization. The organization is not really obligated to build around that player, but they'll do everything that it takes to keep that player foremost because it makes them money. So if you provide value
Mm-hmm.
to the organization in them making money, they're going to do whatever it takes to. They're going to. They may not do whatever it takes to keep you, depending on the athlete. If you're someone who's chasing the ring, and you feel as the person that's chasing the ring, you feel like, look, these guys are not doing what I need and what I want. Understandable. It's a give and take relationship. You're telling them I want to win. They're telling you, yeah, we want to win too. But if they're not doing what you feel they should do to get that W or to get that trophy, by all means, nothing wrong. Go ahead, leave. Because one of the points I'm making is like when LeBron decided to
Right.
go, I never had a problem with LeBron going. I don't have a problem with him going to Miami. Never the problem. That was the problem for me. My problem was always like the way he did it
Mm-hmm.
was the problem at the time. But I've already long forgiven him for that anyway. But the decision, nah, been
You're
forgiven
talking
for
about the
like the way he
decision.
did it because you did it to me. You don't need to
Right.
do a whole like TV
Mm-hmm.
session or episode just to say I'm thinking by the time to South Beach. I don't need all that. Like you're human. Like you're not. You're
Right.
human. You bleed like I bleed. I don't need the whole the theatrics. Yeah, I don't
Thirty
need.
minutes
It's
special.
no,
You
it's
know,
not for
that
me. I
wasn't for
didn't
you.
watch it to this day. I still didn't watch it. I ain't watch a replay. You're not gonna get me to do it unless you pay me. Then I'll do it. But if you ain't paying me, I ain't doing it. To this day, I still ain't do it. So you know, but I think with Dame, it's just like, yo, he want to stay there. I'm gonna hold him to it because he's been adamant time and time again.
Uh-huh.
He wants to stay. He wants to do the grind or whatever he phrases it, the grind. I'm sure Adidas will make a T-shirt about it, the
Right.
grind, some commercial or whatever. It will be a great campaign that will make him some money. So
It would be.
hey, I don't really have. That's kind of like that's only what I really have to say. Um,
I got a question to that. So if he continues his career, doesn't win the
mhm.
championship, which seems likely on Portland, and he changes his mind and goes to a different team,
Yep,
is that when you're gonna hold him
yep,
accountable to his word? Is that when you're gonna say,
yep.
Yo, he's a phony, like
Yeah, because
he's not
unless
credible,
unless
things like
unless he comes
that? Okay,
out, he would have to come out and say, "Look, I did the best I can for this organization." It has to be like a meeting a meeting of the minds where it's like if he comes out and says like he acknowledges everything he said before and he says he's going back on his word, the fact that he is acknowledging um whatever
he was wrong.
like going back on his word or whatever the case may be, then I'm not going to condemn him as long as he comes out and says it. If he just demands a trade
Right.
with no explanation, then yeah, then he's going to get criticized, and the way he doesn't want to be, because clearly in his statements he was like, "Damned if you do, damned if you don't," which I think is actually facts, because he's staying. People are
Mm-hmm.
criticizing him. if he goes, then they're gonna be like, oh, he's a bus rider. There are people that are
Mhm.
gonna say that. So he's right, and that's why I think
Right.
before his comments, which is very timely because I came out and said like, yo, leave the man alone because he clearly doesn't want to leave. And he stated time and time again. So what's the point of dogging him? Because he's not going to leave. If the team decides to trade him and he's like, I don't want to go, but they're like, yo, we want to trade you to get value, for the future, blah, blah, blah. Then it is what it is. The organization is the one that's deciding. So I'm not going to come for him then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole different situation.
Completely different. Yeah.
If like he comes out and demands a trade, then he would have to provide an explanation to like why he changed his mind. Because clearly he's going on like he said it time and time again. He said it to the
Right.
media, and he literally now went on a podcast and said it.
Yeah. And he talked about it. He one thing I like that he said is he wants to win a
Yes,
championship. He clarified that for the
exactly.
city and for the people. He wants to win a championship. But basically, and I'm not quoting him verbatim, but basically it seemed to me that he wants to win it
Right.
in his term on his term, which is in Portland. And if somebody wants to come, fine, they could come, but he's not gonna go around chasing. Like you brought up
Yeah,
the example of Russell
exactly.
Westbrook, and look what it did to his career. He, there's been so many others who went after a championship. Carmelo Anthony went after a
Hmm.
championship, and look what happened to his career now. So there's been so many people who's done it, who's gone after championship, and they failed going to different teams, even in the past. Karl
Hmm.
Malone, Charles Barkley, um,
Right.
Clyde Drexler went, but he got that championship. I believe Tiny Archibald did it. So there's so many
Hmm.
people that's done it in the past. But one thing I do like about Damian Lillard saying these things, it makes me believe that he's the number one, right? Like, it always leaves me the imagination that you could win a championship with Damian Lillard. Even if it's not
I
true,
think you can.
which I
I'm one of those.
do think you could,
Yeah.
it makes, yeah, it gives the imagination like this is the total
Yeah.
opposite
Right.
of
I
Paul
remember. Hmm.
George comment to me. When Paul George said, "Hey, I had to realize I'm a number two." I don't like that. I like what Damian Lillard said because I believe players react well to that, and they're gonna believe, "Hey, we got this guy, so we could win any game we go into." We may not have the best talent, but we got
Right.
that guy. So we have a chance. And that's what Damian Lillard provides. That's what his bravado provides because he believes he's the guy and his play hasn't fallen off. Like he's putting up 41 points a
Right.
lot of time. He put up 71 points this season. Like his play is not falling off. So he provides that aura still that he's the guy. And that's what I like about him, and that's why I like him coming out and saying these things, saying he's staying on Portland and things like that, because you always believe you have a chance with him, and I'm hoping eventually we get him back in that position where he's in contention, like when he has C.J. McCollum and Al Farouk Aminu and Mo Harkless and
Right.
those people, and he was
Hmm.
contending with Nurkic. I hope he gets to that point with a better roster because I want to see Damian Lillard compete with the great players of this league and see if he could overcome and eventually win a championship. And it is possible. Chris Paul got to the finals late, so he still have time to get there, and we
Yeah.
have time to see what he could do in
Yeah, I
that
mean, for his
situation.
sake, I hope, I
So I'm
hope,
hoping.
he's able to win. I mean, at some point, I mean, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, nobody's going to Portland." I mean, hey, man, you never know because nobody thought anybody else was going to OKC, and
You
Paul George
never
ended up
know.
there somehow, some way. So, I mean, it was a 2 year
Exactly.
stint, but
Exactly.
you know, somebody ended up there. Somebody ended up there. So, I mean, you just never know. I mean, sometimes
Exactly.
you got Milwaukee. They won a championship, and they're a small market team. I mean, yeah, they drafted Giannis.
Hmm.
I mean, and they got Middleton. I mean, they build. Who's to say Portland won't get somebody? You never know.
Yep.
So it's all about.
Yeah.
I guess it's all about being like Dame is staying true to what he knows, and there's nothing wrong with that because at the end of the day, like I said, he brought up other factors, like some of the things I was bringing up. Like he brought up like other outside factors, like his best friend comes over, whatever. He can see his mom and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a family
Comfortability of
guy, and I
life.
think that's some of the things. It's like, dude, like people just it, these players do have families. They do have families,
Right.
right?
Yeah, they
They do
have
have,
lives besides basketball. You
yeah,
know,
it's their job,
basketball is
and
their
of course,
work.
like
It's
at their
their job.
job, they want to perform the best they can. Nobody can't tell me Dame Lillard's not working. He's working. He's working in the gym. He's shooting in the gym. Clearly, he's shooting in the
Right.
gym because if he's shooting from half court almost every game, clearly he's working. So because we have people like Trae Young doing it,
Right.
and it ain't looking good for him. So like he ain't making All-Star game. He's not as efficient as Curry and Dame.
Yeah.
So it's just the straight facts. So
Hmm.
so he's working.
That is true.
He's working, and think about this. Dame is on Portland, and I think I can say this point. It just came to my mind. You look at the Hawks. I think we can agree that they're a more talented team, correct? And I and we
100,
can look at the
1,000.
and then I would say that the West is a tougher conference as of right now. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the standings,
You
they're
think
all
so?
like literally on top of each other.
I don't know. I think the bottom half of the playoff roster is I think they right on point. I think they
The
right
West.
there with one another.
Well, yeah,
West and East. I think like 7, 8, 9, and 10
but I'm
can
talking
match
like
up with
if you
7,
look
8,
at it
9,
like
and
if you
10 in
look at
the East.
from a skill standpoint, I think there's more skilled stars in the West.
Oh,
Yeah, like
skills,
that's kind of
individual
like what I'm
players.
saying.
Yeah, no, I agree with
Yeah,
that.
that's
I'm
kind of like what I'm
thinking
saying.
too.
Like there's
I
a lot
agree
more
with that.
skilled
I agree
stars
with
like on
that.
the West side, from top to bottom. Where it's like the
I
point I'm
agree.
making is look at both the records of Portland and the Hawks. They're almost identical. So it's like
Hmm.
you have a more talented team on the other side, and this guy is a less talented team, but yet somehow, some way, he could still find himself in the playoffs. Even though the Hawks can kind of do, but you have more talent. It makes no sense to me. The point I'm making is the point. Yeah, the point I'm
Hawks should
making
do
is
that. I agree. Hawks should do
all Portland has to do is a couple of right moves, and they'll be in the mix. They just have to they have to figure it out at some point. But
that. I agree.
we'll see. Only time will tell.
I agree. I agree with that. I just think they're missing a few pieces because they're right there. They just need. I would say they need a
Right.
center. They need a better bench, but they're right there. They're close. So I'm not.
Yeah, they need to
I
get rid of
think they
Nurkic.
could get.
Nurkic's
I do
annoying.
think they could get there. Um, yeah, yeah. He's done. Like I'm not talking his NBA career. I hope for the best with him, but with
Yeah, he needs
Portland,
to be on that.
no,
Yeah, he needs to be off
that
that team.
it's over,
Like,
man.
he needs to be on I guess a different team. I don't
Yeah,
know what team would take him. Um, I have another. Oh,
yeah.
I have one more. I have one more thing to
Maybe go
say.
back to Denver. Back up.
Um, it's funny. Um,
Okay.
people come at Dame, right? But why nobody talks about Bradley Beal?
You brought this up.
Why?
Okay.
Because
Why do you think?
because
What
at
What
one
do you
point,
think?
right? I think we agree. Him and Wall was supposed to be on one of these top duos in the NBA. Yeah, making playoffs
Uh,
and projected Eastern Conference
Yeah.
Finals and all this stuff. Yeah,
He
yeah.
was comparing
And
them to the
then
Splash Brothers. I don't know if you remember.
then the narrative is like, oh, Wall is holding him back, and then Wall goes or is gone, or he got hurt, and then you saw Beal just like he went from like this level to a whole nother level, right? Dropping almost like 30 a game and all this stuff, shooting efficiently and all this. And then you're like, wow, they should build around him. He's the better player. And then now, what happened? We at least, yeah, it's like at least
You
Dame come
ignore
and
him.
no, and the reason why I bring him up because his contract.
Right.
We're pretend
Yeah.
like we come at Dame, but we're not gonna come at like another Max guy named Bradley Beal, who's been on the same franchise for God knows how long. And why I'm bringing him up because at least Dame is talking and saying something and trying defending himself.
Right.
Beal is not saying a word about anything. You don't even know if he wants to win. You don't even know if he's upset with roster changes. You don't know if he wants to be traded. You don't know if he wants somebody to be there. You don't know squat nothing. It's just radio silence. So why nobody
Right.
like calling him out on that? I don't know why the citizens of DC is not saying anything. What's going on?
I was gonna say something about DC. Like it's like DC teams. The players they don't get scrutinized too much. Like we don't focus in on them
That's a
too
good
much in
point.
any sport. Like even like when Bryce Harper was on the
Yeah,
Nationals, like Bryce Harper is a pretty good player. Like he
and he was
wasn't
winning
getting
MVPs.
that much attention. Um, yeah, he was killing, and they got a championship. I don't even like the Nationals have a championship, and I don't think people
You just
realize
reminded me.
that, but they have a
You
championship.
just reminded me of that.
Exactly. It's like it's like and in football, the Commanders, who I thought
Don't
was
get me
gonna win
started.
the division this year. Remember, I said that. Like, but it's like they always in some kind of obscurity. It's like, oh, they just there, they just placed in a sport. But it's like that DC area. It's like,
And it's funny because they have
why
famous
nobody covers
they do
them
have a
too much?
famous like
I don't know what
newspaper
it is.
there too, which is hilarious. It's like wait,
They do. Yeah,
yeah,
I think their newspaper was like one of the top, right, in the nation. So it's like I don't get it, but it's like it's weird to me. It's weird because you're right. I think Bradley Bill should be talked about more as far as hey, what do you want to do? Because like that team, I look at that team too. Like the Wizards, they got Kristaps Porzingis is playing pretty good. Like he's playing pretty good offensively. Kyle Kuzma is not playing bad offensively too. He's playing pretty. He's averaging 20. They have
that's why I have to
two
bring
of
it
them
up
is averaging
because
20.
he's getting away with murder.
Yeah,
He's getting away with murder because we come at Dame, which is why like at least Dame has shown you like clutch shots in the playoffs, and from time to time. At least we see
true.
him fail in the Western Conference Finals. At least we see them do that.
Yeah,
Beal.
and think about what you said. You said in the Western Conference Finals, Bradley Bill on his own. I don't. He's never gotten out the first round.
Without John Wall, yeah, right, exactly,
It's like without John Wall
yeah.
there, no
So
first round.
we're just gonna like let that slide, like a $200 million contract guy. Just gonna let that rock. Okay, cool. Okay, people, cool. And
That's
then
a very good point.
another person I'm gonna bring up is
That's a good.
Zach LaVine because
Wait, why? Why Zach Levine?
I I, I never really had high expectations for him, but he's that type of player where you think like
Mm-hmm.
he might do something like he might get better with his play or things like that. No, he averaged 26 and it's just empty. It's an empty 26 points per game. And why I mention him is because you let another guy come to your team and he's basically the face of your team.
Right,
That's why I had to bring it
right.
up.
DeRozan is the face. But you know what's funny? I used to like Zach Levine. I used to think he could had potential to be great. At one point, I was saying he's
Oh
better
wow,
than Devin
dang.
Booker. That's wrong.
Yeah, you're way
But
wrong. Oh my god.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
way
you
wrong.
will with that,
I
man.
was I was way off with that. Way off. But but
No
like
comment.
I feel like Zach Levine, he's who he's reached his plateau now. Zach Levine. So like, and he wasn't expected to
Yeah,
be like this good coming in. So I don't really look at
yeah,
Zach Levine on the level
yeah,
I do Bradley Bill
yeah.
or
Nah, I
any.
wasn't bringing him up because of
So
like on
that's
that level. I was
that's
bringing him up because
my
it's like I'm trying to be nice. I don't want to say anything bad about him, but it's like wow.
okay.
Like all right, here's why. You win dunk competitions, right? And it gives you more notoriety. But yet you watch him play, and he
That's
is a
true.
skilled player. From time to time, you see him. Oh, he dropped 35. Oh my God, 40. And then
Yes.
a couple of dunks here and there in games or whatever. So you get like you get Larry Market in on your team. Yeah, Larry Market is on the team. I think he was on the team with Larry at one point. A young guy,
He was.
and
No, no, at one point.
it's like a couple like some there's like some talents have been on that team, and then like now they're gone, and then now you have why it's disappointing because like now you have him, then it's DeRozan, and you have Vucevic, and then Caruso was there, and then I mean yeah, you could be like oh yeah injuries or whatever, which maybe there's something wrong with the Chicago Bulls staff, the medical staff. I don't know, maybe they need to be looked at. Because for some reason everybody's hurt, and then when they leave, they're just better. Like I don't get it. But
You.
anywho, um, yeah.
They go do their recruiting in
So
the off
now you
season.
get an older player in DeRozan who comes to your team, and now he's basically the face of your team. And last time I checked, the Bulls paid you money to be their face. So what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? Like
Well, that's a good point on.
he's like, do you want to win? Like, I don't know. Like, he's another one. Like, are you trying to get better? Like, are you? I don't know what's going on with him.
But see, it's funny that I don't that team I think could have been so much better if Lonzo Ball
Mhm.
was playing because Lonzo Ball fit that team. Like I'm not saying that, like you two brought
Right,
it up earlier with De'Aaron Fox and Lonzo Ball. De'Aaron Fox to me is much better, but Lonzo Ball on the right team, he could be
right.
a
That's true.
great
Yeah,
play, not good player,
yeah,
serviceable starter in the NBA. And with DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine last year, they were in first. They was one of the top teams in the East. I don't want to say first, maybe I'm wrong, but they were one of the top teams in the East. And then Lonzo Ball gets injured, and they just fall
uh,
off. And
yeah,
I think Lonzo Ball covered up so much things for them
yeah.
defensively, and it's really affected that team
It shouldn't.
overall. Because that team
It
with
should
Zach
have
LaVine,
been that.
DeMar
It
DeRozan and
shouldn't
Lonzo,
be
they
that
were
hard
good.
of a fall though. It's like the point. It's the point I'm making. It's like
It shouldn't. You're right.
why are you struggling to make the playoffs? Like you should be. You should have a winning record. Like
They should.
you should have a
They
winning
should.
record.
That team should be in the
Like
playoffs.
I don't get it.
But I think what it is also is leadership. That team,
That's a good point.
I think that team lacks a true
No,
leader.
no, you know,
Because I never looked at DeMar
yeah,
DeRozan as the leader on top. It was Kyle Lowry.
yeah,
DeMar DeRozan was a better player than Kyle Lowry, but it was Kyle Lowry the leader. And then Zach Levine, I don't think anyone is going to accuse him of being a leader. And then Vucevic, no. So I think that team is
right.
lacking a leader, even on the floor as well. Because I think Lonzo Ball was
Mm,
that leader on the floor, not the overall team, but on the floor, Lonzo Ball, I think he was that leader,
yeah, I
and
can
they
agree with
missed him.
that.
That's what I believe.
I told you. Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah. So those are some interesting takes on free agency, and then we
Yeah.
got